I will start recording now. Yeah. Okay, so I'm sure we're all doing well. You can please put your comments in the section. I really want to know what has made us smile. I've smiled about random things, but I haven't smiled about the news, more deaths on this side and all that and stuff. So it's amazing how much, you know, if you're not careful, it's beginning to get to you. You're wondering what's going on. So, but I think we should still find reasons and things to make us, you know, so, oh yeah. Yes, that's really good. It's getting better and better. The more we have these kind of forums, I think the one thing that we've taken from this COVID-19, hi Chidima, good to have you here. The one thing we've taken from this lockdown and being where we are is that there's so much information out there, and now we actually have the time to assimilate it. But at the end of this too, as much as we're hopefully leaving here a bit more hopeful, we want to encourage us to also create a simple plan to implement. Okay, some schools, my son's school resumed today. My daughter is resuming on Monday, and they've started with their, I mean, they're older, fine, but still, they've started with their classes. So schools are supposed to be resuming. And so we don't have time to join everybody else who is saying, how do we do? Should we be doing this or should we be doing that? Okay, so great to have us here. Hi, Apere, welcome. Okay, so in general, just what we're going to be talking about, just how to make the most of this situation. Many of us, I'm sure, are probably have gone from one webinar to the other. Everyone is giving free content, which we love. Hello, Samuel. I'll give us a chance to talk at some stage when we're discussing soon, okay? We want to share ideas of what great stuff people are doing. I have people like Mrs. Ajala who they're doing some really wonderful things in their school with their PTA, and she's going to talk a little bit about that toward the end of the session. And I asked Sade, I don't know if Sade is on the group, but I've invited people to just come and just share. And then many of us too can also have the opportunity. And then the outlook for us from different perspectives is good for us to just talk a bit more and just think of ways to talk, you know, about our mindset, the things that we can get our minds thinking about a bit more. All right. So we want to share knowledge. We want to reduce the limited belief kind of mindset, and yes, innovation, how we can evolve in education and creative ideas. Okay. So I just put this here. I mean, many of us are familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and this is something that I think I've seen people even have a T-shirt like this. I haven't seen the one that has the battery. Okay, but this is like something that's very applicable for the times that we're in. Okay, someone is saying, but no sound. Hi, Temi, good to have you here. Ms. Ngozi, can you click on your settings, click on the sound button, and then your sound will come back on, okay? Okay. Yeah. So there's some things we're going to look at in case if you want to type some comments about this. Okay. What's the good side of our present situation? All right. So there are a lot of webinar sessions, books, newscasts about the challenges. Where are the challenges? But then in every challenge, as we rightly know, a challenge is like what they say. It's like what squeezes you to bring out the best juice. So imagine you're like an orange or a lemon, okay? These kind of challenges are squeezing, putting pressure to bring out the actual value of what your core is. It's helping you to think in ways that you wouldn't normally have to think. And the thing about this is that it's not just in Nigeria, or it's not just in a particular continent. It's a global effect, okay? So is anything good happening in your own side of the world? Okay, I'm still getting greetings. Hi, Smart, welcome. Okay, so let me sit down properly. What opportunities have you cashed in on? What are the things that you're working on now? So we're going to look at that together. So I've put this slide, just very simple slides where we get to take notes if you can. So this session, as I said, about 50 minutes. We'll probably do a bit less, maybe 45, hopefully. What I encourage us to engage, type our comments, say hi to one another also on the chat if you want, share ideas once we're doing the idea session, and then take down notes if that's something that works for you, and do listen to. If you can't hear, let us know if there's anything that you need also, okay? So so we encourage us to interact and all that from there. I just read a very summarized version of my profile, just a very summarized version of it. So So I've been in education for quite a number of years. I've taught. I remember, I mean, someone reminded me of this recently. Even I had forgotten. For a whole year, I was doing a TV show on NTA. And I used to go and visit schools and this was a long time ago. This was like 2004. So, and I've forgotten about it. And I used to sometimes, they would come and film in my house and I'll teach people how to make things on the video. So that means, I mean, this thing has been inside my head for a while. Okay. So some of the things, different aspects that I worked on. And so this is some things that I enjoy doing. I like learning. I like learning from people. I like encouraging people also. I like encouraging because I believe we can all do much more. All right, so I want us to take out time now for this. This is our main. What I've done is I've put 4 different limiting beliefs or 4 different comments that I've been hearing from almost every session, every webinar, WhatsApp class, people that I'm coaching, people that are calling me for help and support. Okay, I'm just going to type out some of them. I have 6 different ones, and then some different ways that we can what do you call it? Perceive them in a different way. Murmur says they can't hear me. Click on your sound, Murmur. But everybody else can hear me, right? Everybody else can hear me. Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Yes, we can. Okay. All right. So let's say 1 now. Let's look at number 1 here. Thank you for raising your hand. Thank you. Yes, lovely. Thanks, Hadiza. Thanks, Timmy. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So limiting belief number 1, I'm calling a limiting belief because I found that this is affecting a lot of schools because they're getting lethargic. They're not thinking about what they can do. They're already worrying, parents won't pay if the children are in school, and they're worrying about it, okay? And so another mindset I want us to have is that we should be able to just continue to see ourselves as people that provide value, okay? So a saying I want us to remember very well: money is never actually the problem. I was talking to this Mr. Jala about this. Money is never actually the problem. It's more of the perceived value of what we are offering. Okay, and let me give an example. 2 days ago, I was charging my phone, and my phone is like my office. My phone is where I do all the whole webinars. I do all my, so my phone. And then battery wasn't even dead. And then the phone went dead for like 2 hours. The phone went dead. And this is not the time to even to buy food is a major thing. So my phone decided to go dead for like 2 hours. I thought I would just lose my head. I was already going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I called my son and he came down, and then they did some troubleshooting. They did some, yeah, thank you, Paul, for hearing. Some people said they can't hear. Yeah, they did some troubleshooting. We plugged in, we checked on Google, we did all sorts of things. But if need be, if that phone hadn't gone off, honestly, I would have forfeited some food to buy or to get my phone fixed somehow or the other, because it's valuable to me. It's something I use for business. It's something that is very important. And so the same thing for us, I think, as educators. Instead of us continue to confess or say the same things that we've been saying, will parents pay? Will they pay? And all that. If we're able to really, when you're packaging something in a way that makes a lot of sense to them, that is very different from, I'll just download a IXL and we'll be doing IXL at home. When you're able to package something that is unique and people can see the value in it, okay? It's important for us to not to allow this to limit the way or the things that we need to do for as schools, okay? So some parents have a lot of options now. They may decide, I only want to come flexible. I don't want to have my children in a crowded area anymore. They have a lot of options right now. So let us find a way to position ourselves to be able to meet these needs. Yesterday I was doing a live session, and one of the questions, of course, someone asked was, what do we do with all these schools that are asking us to pay school fees, when the kids are not there? And, and I had to explain to her, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, so I want to say, yeah. So I had to explain to the lady, I said, she says, is she supposed to pay fees since schools are going to be, so she's asking as a parent. And I told her, I said, the one thing you must understand about fees, especially in the 3rd term, is that the fees for the 3rd term are what extend all the way to August, number 1. And even if we're going to be creating content as school owners or as teachers or as educators, people have to also be paid for this, And so I did an appeal, and I said, if you're a parent and you can afford it, please pay the fees. pay the fees. So for us as schools, it's very important to be able to communicate this message to parents in a way that they will understand it, okay? And so that those who can support and make sure our schools continue. Who just came up? So you can mute yourself, someone, okay. Okay, and so one thing to think about, instead of us thinking and limiting ourselves, worrying about whether parents would pay, a lot may not pay, a lot may not have the money, a lot may not care, but a lot will see the value and pay. Okay, a lot may see the value once you're able to communicate it well. So communicate actively and then find ways to strengthen your customer loyalty at this time. Okay, let me find this person who is not muted. Okay, yeah, perfect. Thank you. They've done so. Okay, thank you. So that's one. We're looking at one. I'm just trying to talk about what I was saying. I'm just looking at things that we need to be able to reshape and, reinvent our thinking, because it all starts with our thinking. Who is the lovely person that is here that is not muted? Can you please mute yourself? Whoever this lovely person is. Yes, thank you so much, Mahat. So I'll put it here now. Learning is still taking place. So why will fees not be paid? Okay. So if we're able to get this message across to parents in a way that they understand, and I'm saying this, I'm an educator, but I'm also a parent. And my kids are in higher education. So the money is a lot. The money is a lot. So I know better. I'm saying this to you, but I'm still also a parent who is complaining and going, must this still be that much? Must they still charge us that amount of money? Okay. And all that. So it's our role as educators to be able to present this information in the best way that parents can understand and really understand the value. Okay. So that's one thing. So the second thing I have here now, the webinar I was on, the economic this thing, the man actually said something like this. He says 90 something percent of businesses will not be able to survive, okay, after the COVID-19 crisis. Okay, now it may be a fact and it may be true, but the thing about it is that you dwell on and you allow it to limit. Let me find this person. I'm going to make someone a co-host so they can help me. Can you please mute yourself? Okay, thank you, Wada. You're helping. Thank you, Wada. So you're going to be my sound technician at the side. Thank you, Wada. Okay, thanks for that. I'm trying to mute you, Wada. Okay, yeah, very good. Okay, okay. So we will not be able to survive as a business or as schools with the COVID-19 crisis. Okay, it may be a fact, as I said, economics, all the graphs, everything are showing that. But I need us to also, as I said, this session, I just thought it would be nice to encourage ourselves a bit more to know that, because again, some people, like food businesses, people are actually still buying food. People are actually somehow or the other every day, taking each day as it comes, and they are surviving, okay? But I want us to be able to think with a fresh mindset, okay? So this may be a fact, it may be evident. The whole world, everyone says, oil crash. Ooh. Blessing. Okay. I've muted Blessing. Okay. All right. Okay, so I want us to come up with a fresh mindset of thinking of ways that we can recreate and to come up with new range of services. Are there ways that we can collaborate with others so that we are able to, some people may be strong in something. Can we collaborate with people who are not even in our same industry to produce something very unique? Can we think that way? All right. And what about reviewing our business model? Are there other things that we can do totally different? Okay. And then think, I want us to think, be thinking organizations, think beyond our regular thinking, think with different aspects, and and then I want us to think as people who are willing to fight, not fight physically. We're not sending you to box, but to fight for your business, okay? To fight for our businesses. Last week, I was having anxiety attacks, and I was going, oh my God, we're not going to make it, She can't hear me, Dr. Docha. Let me see what to do with you now. Can you click on your audio, ma? Dr. Docha, please click on your audio. From there, okay, so it's really important. So find people that you can partner with, you can collaborate with. This is when schools actually should consider. This is when people would, and really people should actually consider doing joint ventures, merging, coming together. Schools that are much smaller. This is actually the time when people should be embarking on mergers or things that they can do. Okay, so why I'm saying this is because interestingly, we have our annual school needs expo, which is scheduled for May, which will probably postpone, will definitely postpone. But yesterday I had 4 different phone calls from 4 different companies who are like, okay, so we need to have details. We want to come for the exhibition. So even if you postpone it, we want to come. But I was before this going, nobody has money now. Let me not even, okay. Some people are, they're still, they're okay. So whatever it is that they're like, they're fine. It's part of the thing that they budgeted for this year. So people are still there. Okay. Some people are still there saying, no, no, no. As soon as you're ready, um, yes, Mr. Pollock, I've just seen that. Yeah. So as soon as they said as soon as we're ready with the plans for that, we should take it forward and take it from there. So I've decided to also change my thinking and make it less limiting. And that's the same thing I want to pass on to us. So even if all these things are true, they're very evident. I'm not saying that I'm not even standing here, and it's not a motivational speech or a church message, but I don't want us to limit ourselves based on the things that we're seeing. Okay, I want us to come up with a fresh mindset. Limiting beliefs 3. So a lot of schools, I know everybody's investing. As I said, people have bought buying tablets and buying this and buying what people are investing, and maybe they should buy laptops for the students. Should we do this? Should we do that? Should we do this? Okay, so if I don't implement technology advances in my school, teaching will not be possible. Okay, and so one thing I want us to remember, and it's so evident every session we've had, so many sessions we've had. I had another one, someone mentioned this was like something after my own heart. And then I had a session this morning. I was leading a session on another webinar, and I said digital technology, as I said, is a tool, is an excellent tool to enhance learning, but it's not your only answer. Okay, so right now it's very convenient because we can't, so that we can have the children coming to our schools, we can have them in our premises, but it's not the only answer. Okay, so one thing I think that's very important, and someone said the same thing today, for each and every one of us to start with what works best for you. So if it's that your parents are very good at using or the families, Telegram groups, whatever it is, everyone in general has some aspect of technology that some level that they are able to use. There's a school here where I am, somewhere here in the UK. The man was like, he was so happy that the children's school posted books and workbooks and everything to them and their worksheets. For me personally, I think I would love that because even as much as I like all these techie things, I actually still like to see, because learning is not just us sticking our heads on a computer all the time or learning from a device. Okay, it must be a hybrid. Okay, so think of ways that you can combine things, recommend books, do short, what do you call it, short presentations for the children to know what to do. Okay, so everyone has a level of technology they're familiar with. Eunice, you want to say something? Can I wait for a bit when I almost finish soon, then we can chat. Okay, if you just put your comments in this comment section, chat section. Okay, so that's for that. So technology is very important, but it's again for us to make sure that we understand what we need, what works for us before you all go overboard. Okay, many of us are very excited. We've done a lot of training on technology and stuff. Don't forget that what do you call it, the users of it are the children and the parents who may not have been too familiar with it. So find a way that you can pass this message on, train the parents gradually. Okay, even me, that my children are older, but I've gotten so many emails from the teachers in the past few days. So even me, that I should know better, is getting to get to my head. Okay, so I had someone say, okay, Mr. Dyro, can you hear now? Tyra can hear it. Okay, yeah. So they sent me something from how they want to do PE from now on and how they want this and this. So every teacher was sending me, I mean, come on, they're doing a lot of subjects now. So people have been sending, and then they're older, so they send them the same email. So that's fine. When I have the time, I now read through, but a lot of information is coming there. Okay, so it's very good, but they also have their books. They're also giving them their books and things to also work with. Okay, so don't go overboard. Yes, definitely. Oh, thank you. Someone is announcing their attendance. Yes, okay, I'll come to that, Hadiza. Please take note of that, who to be partnering with. I think everyone should partner with who exactly that is needed. I think this is the time when people should be able to broker deals. People should be able to contact suppliers directly as a group. Okay, one of the things we'll look at is like, when you're part of you can come together, like we can just say now, all of us in this webinar, for example, I have links with this person. Let's call them, let's come together as a group. Let's find a way to buy things in bulk and get it cheaper. I know there's so many things that I don't want us to, we all look at ourselves as silos, okay? We all look at ourselves sometimes as little individuals running our own thing. If we're able to come together, it's really powerful. We can do a lot more, okay? Another thing is very limiting. It's very true. As I said, all these things I'm saying, I'm calling them limiting beliefs, because if this is all you dwell on, you're going to wake up every morning and be like, why do I even bother, really, honestly? So this is the same outlook. The airlines, hotels are closed. Airlines alone have closed. An example, as I said, is the British Airways, which is one of the world's largest carriers, or the UK's largest carrier, and they have laid off 28,000 staff members. I'm just giving it as an example, okay? So when people are focused on this, they're dwelling on this, and that's all they can think of. And the thing about it is that it's true. People, they've been laid off, okay? But for us now as schools, smaller schools, bigger schools, if this is all you dwell on, it's going to affect you also, okay? Let me see what the point here that was made. Yes, this is based on the last point. Mrs. O says teachers also need to be trained with the technology, definitely. So a lot of opportunities, as I said, it might not be anything too major. There are Facebook groups. There's a guy in the UK here that sent me a link. He has a Facebook group that has about 6,000 or something people. So a lot of content, and it's free. So when I find it, because he sent it to me on Messenger, if I find it, I'll try and send it to us so that people can sign up. Your teachers can sign up on Facebook groups. Make sure that they're participating also. Mr. Jala has some excellent points here. She says, technology alone is not school, but being the future, we have to adapt, but start simply, which is very, very important. That's really the key word. So don't get too overexcited and say, okay, so we want to bring in, everything. You want to use everything at Moda. I want to use Google Class. I want to use this. Okay. And then you're just confusing everyone else, and so start with what works for you, the simplest thing. As we said, whether it means that you are sending the parents WhatsApp messages twice a week, whatever it is that works for you and the families in your school, okay? And all that. So it's very important to do that. Yunusa, I don't know what to say to you again, because you were hearing us before. Okay, so bigger company, a lot of things are happening. People are cutting down jobs, and that's very true, as we said. So for us in our schools, what are some things we can consider if we're looking at it and from a fresh approach? We can, of course, again, we examine job roles. Some roles right now are not going to be relevant for now, especially as we're not there. Like now that we're not there, you don't have maybe a physical people walking in, so you don't have a need for maybe a front desk person now, because nobody is coming in physically to the school at that time. Okay, so but is there something else that person, do they have any particular skills that you can use for them to use that can also generate value, at least to the school? Okay, think of ways that you need to restructure, merge some roles. So maybe someone was doing this and this and this. Maybe you had 4 people doing different things. Can one person handle them? Also your resources, use resources across board. So think of ways that you could think of ways that you can do. Okay, good, Miss Enna, good. You can hear, yeah. Think of your resources. Are there things that we can use across board? Like when I was teaching, of course, then when I was teaching, you would have, as a school, one of the schools I worked in then, we had 3 arms of every class, but then some things you can't buy three sets of everything. So what we'll do, of course, now we're just using it. If I use it here, when I finish using it, the next class can come and take the resources. Now, the same thing for us. I'm not even talking about classroom resources. Is that Blessing or who is, okay, they've muted themselves, yeah. So high level equipment, resources, everything can be used for spread across for different uses. So if something was meant for just one thing, look at different ways that you can use it to also find ways to cut costs, okay? And then for us, think of a more lean approach. So bigger companies are struggling, smaller companies are struggling. But for us, what can we do in our own schools in our own organization. Not everyone here are school owners. We have some people who are actually business owners. Good. Abigail can hear us now. Mr. Jala says we should do a skills audit and redistribute jobs. Excellent. Okay. So an example for us, our driver in the office, he actually has a diploma in something computer or whatever it is. So he's very, very good with facilities and fixing stuff. So we gave him the role of being the facility manager. And the thing about it is that facility needs to be checked. So yesterday he was even sending a message, oh, I just checked the credit, NEPA credit on this. He's actually excellent in that aspect. He doesn't even. So he has that skill. So that's something he's doing now. Okay. So we've seen that in him and we've given him that as an added responsibility. Okay. So audit your job roles, distribute some jobs. Some people may be better doing something. Ooh, changing dynamics. Let me mute you. Okay, good. Okay. So oh, this name. I was gonna try and pronounce your name. Okay, Osayemwere. Okay. If you must structure job roles, it will be fine to evaluate your technological framework. Yeah. Yes. That's really fine. I mean, being digitally sound, no doubt. We're not discrediting technology or on all that, but digital technology or skills right now is at high level, is highly in demand. So anyone that that has those within your organization, that they're already going to be much in demand. That is something that is a skill that it's needed now more than ever. Okay, so for us we have to think of ways to cut costs, lean approach. What kind of things can we do? So another one, again, I was talking to someone, and of course, like 2 hours ago, the phone cuts how many times? The phone kept cutting, and he was like, oh my God, today's network, data is really bad. And this is, again, high data costs, erratic power supply, teachers' capacity, great challenges. Very true. Okay, they're very, very true. Okay, so as I said, I just put it here simply, challenges, again, give rise to great creativity and thinking. So if you're a business owner, you're a school owner here, what ways can you work with your staff? And you have to be very, very, very understanding based on their level. Find the ones who have a higher skill set in terms of understanding what you need, and then you can assign them to mentor some of the ones who need support. And it's just very important to actually know what exactly you want when it comes to all these things, okay? Because as I said, some of us we're going a bit haywire. Okay, let's do this, do that training, do this one. And then, as we said, just take it as simply something you can start now. Schools were meant to resume, I think some schools were meant to resume officially by next week or so, or the upper week. So you don't have that much time. So get to work and get things going. Don't overthink it. Okay, make it simple. I like this. Someone said, we said, while we're examining roles and merging, wouldn't it be? Yes, definitely. Yes, we're going to talk about that the next. Definitely some roles will definitely have to be cut. You definitely have to do that. Okay, but we just don't want people dwelling on it, because I'm saying this because even for me, I think a few weeks ago, I was already like, oh my God, everybody has to go. What am I going to do? I can't do this. I can't even keep up. Okay. And then I'm like, no, that's not a healthy way to see it. Okay. So now I'm finding ways to reinvent some things. I know definitely, even for us, definitely already, I can think of 6 roles that we're going to cut or put on hold. Okay, because so those kind of things, we already know that already. We've already done our own audits. We know some roles that we are going to have to put on hold, and eventually we would have to let go. Okay, so that's inevitable. Okay, approximate way to curtail distraction if lessons are taught via the internet. I'll try and answer that later when we're talking about the student aspect. And the last part I put here, government is not there to support our businesses. Okay, so let's not make that something where it may be true. I mean, it's probably true, for some, but some people are also gaining from the government. And remember that we also have our own part to play. If the government is supposed to support us, government needs to have proper record documentation. You have to be able to be accountable in terms of your finances, and it's not going to be something that they just wake up and give you 10 million for no reason. You have to be able to have the information that they need to, to show that you're eligible to all these things. Okay, so, but one thing we can benefit from is associations, places, as I said, places like them NAPS, them APEN, their business groups, their online communities. There's so many business communities on Facebook. There's let me see the ones I can think of right now. Yes. Yes, there's so many. There's what is business something. There are a lot of them actually. Apart from the course business study group, there's so many business communities where, because don't forget, as much as we're educators, mix with your industry, but remember that you're also running a business. Okay, you're running a business, so you must also build up your business skills. Okay, so EDC, they're doing free webinars from now till May, the Enterprise Development Center. So anyone you know, you can ask them to send you the link. You sign up. They're free webinars on business. You must know what's going on. Don't only know about Edmodo and whatever it is. Watch the news, see what it is that you can gain. Everyone, I think everyone has come up with, even the news channels actually have some sort of Facebook groups now, okay, where you can also get information. So if that's something you know, look at it, find out what's going on. And then there is power in numbers. And that's why it's really good to have forums like this where we can discuss. There is power in numbers. So being in an association, me going to a place and saying, I need to get money, I need a loan. But when you're coming together as an association, as a group, you are able to now do much more than you could do if you were just the one person, okay? And so, yeah, so this is just some things. There's some things that we've been hearing, I've been saying, and I still have them in my mind. But I think it's better for us to always try and think, when we think of these things, let's think of the possible ways that we can, you know, think about them differently. Are there possible ways that we can think about them from a different perspective? Okay, so that people are, as I said, people are struggling, people are going through, but what can we do? Especially as right now, we thought of, someone was saying today, they asked the economist, what if businesses can't reopen at all for the next 3 months? And he's a senior economist, and he said, I can't even answer you that. He said, God forbid, you know, and he says, God forbid that can't even happen. Okay. But the thing about it is that we don't want to get to the point where we're totally defeated, because that's an option. That's how last week I was feeling very, I mean, here where we are, it's actually a bit more evident, because the death numbers are a bit higher, strikingly higher. And then the health system is supposed to be better than what we have back home. And so if the numbers are going that bad, you know, a lot of things can really, you know, go on in your head. Okay, but I've decided to know, you know what, this is not, I don't want us dwelling on this, because people are doing well. People are still planning. People are, I have a new client who called me day before yesterday. She's in Lagos. I haven't met her. She wants to start a school. So I'm coaching her, and people are there doing things, you know, so we can sit down here and be like, hey, nothing is happening. People are there and they're doing stuff. So I want us to just get into that, you know, that mindset where what are we going to do? Also, what can we do? People are actually getting alerts in their account at this time. Okay. At this time. Okay. So this is just a little quadrant that just shows the different aspects of what makes up an education system for us, and every part that's intertwined. But I wouldn't really dwell on it too much. But under the organizational structures, not just your staff, you have your finances, your government partnerships, and those kind of things. Management and leadership, your curriculum, your teaching and learning. So all these aspects are things that are being that we have, that are part of our system, and they're being impacted by our present situation. I don't know how many of you have seen this this thing. This was on a business group I was on, and then I saw it on another group, and then someone sent it to me personally, and then someone else sent it to me also. Okay, so this places where's my annotation? This places us education. We're the one in yellow with the book. Okay, so they're saying the economics and everything are the outlook. What they're saying is that education, at least we're even trying. We're not in the red here for now. We're yellow or orange. Okay, and so that's from this outlook here. But that's just something to see. But this kind of thing can give you, like, you can be like sitting down and going, hey, we're in trouble. Where, I mean, we have a lot of work to do. There's a lot going on, and what can we be doing at this time? Okay, and so I just decided to break down the who aspects, because I want us to talk a bit more. Many of us have put some comments and things, so I just tried to put this on, of ask some questions that hopefully will be answered in this part. Yes, Mrs. Enabong. Yes, likely. I mean, you would do what works for you. So you would need to definitely cut roles, because if you don't have money coming in, or you don't have any income, unless you're going to get money from somewhere else, or you have your personal money to be able to fund your office, if you can do that, then that's fine. Another thing that many of us are doing is that we're going to just pay allowances as opposed to the full salaries. So we pay allowances for some time so that people have at least some little money to use and take care of themselves. Okay. So I want to quickly just run through some of these things I've said already in the limiting belief, and then so that I can stop and we can discuss. I really want to hear from us what we're doing. Okay, so one thing to help us reinvent our thinking, things that we can do for ourselves as school leaders. I put this think like 101 times, but think is not sit down and not sit down like when you're sitting down like this, where you're. This is not thinking, but think about, look at the reality. I don't know how many of us are familiar with the six hats approach to thinking, and what it does is it encourages you to think about thinking in a very lateral way. You're thinking from all dimensions. It's like someone standing in front of a house. If someone stood on this side of my house and someone stood on that side, someone would say this house is actually white and someone would say it's brown. Okay, so it depends on where you are. So when you're thinking about things, think from different parts, with the facts, with your emotions, with the reality, with encouragement. Okay, think of different ways that you can think about stuff. Find a way out. Think your way out of what's going on. Think creatively. What can we do? Plan, implement, pause, breathe, repeat, and then reflect for change. And what I mean by that is that if we're not careful, businesses may go back to work in the next 2-3 weeks. We all just get back and then we're doing the exact same thing that we were doing before. And then that would make everything like almost of no use. Okay. So reflect for change. When we go back now, is it possible that we can maintain like forever now the highest level of hygiene in all our organizations now? So that means things like hugging and the rest now are going to be very limited. Okay. How are we going to do? We can't hug ourselves. Okay. So people have to learn how to just give that bit of distance. Washing, all those things have to now be like the real normal. Okay. The real normal. For parents, can I remind us again? Mr. Jala had said so also earlier. Communicate. I should have written it like 101 times. Okay, so communication is very key at this time. It doesn't mean you just sending the general bulk things. Okay, engage with them, communicate, listen to them, hear what it is that they want. We had a webinar with parents last week or so. I think it was a lovely. Yes, it was a really lovely session because a lot of parents, since they're all at home, dads and moms were there, and then they shared their own, what they're doing at home, and then the kind of support they feel that they need. Okay. And at the end of this, a lot of them were like, okay, so whatever packages you have to offer, please send it to us so that we can prepare ourselves. So their minds were already open because they thought it was a really good idea for them to engage and tell us what exactly they were going through. And then we asked them, what kind of support do they feel they need? What would help them at this time? Okay. So it's really important for you. Find ways, see what you're going to offer parents, show that you care. Okay. You should care. You care for the children, you care for the parents also. Okay. Our staff, our teachers. So if you're not an educator or you have staff, very important for us. A few weeks ago, before I thought about this, I was already getting to the point where, hey, cut jobs, turn hard, be very strict and all that and stuff and whatever it is. But then I sat down and I thought about it again. I said, even if we're going to do that, there is a way that things are done. Don't forget that we're still also an organization where things are supposed to be done in a proper structured way. Okay. And so empathy is very important at this time, but make sure that people don't lose hope. Find ways to encourage them. Someone was saying that we should encourage our staff to also run their own businesses, try and see what little things they do. A lot of my staff run their own side businesses. And even before this, I've always encouraged them because I feel it's something that is good as long as you're not running the same kind of business that we do. So some of them, like some people do cooking and the weekends, some people have different things they do. So I personally encourage my team. A lot of schools say that it's against their policy. So for us, our policy is that you should also be able to be an entrepreneur within the organization and also be someone who can be running things at the side. Okay. I like what Emmanuel said, reorientation. That's very important. But that's a very good word. We have to change our thinking. We have to really prepare ourselves for that. I like that Mrs. O was asking, how can children stop hugging? It's so fascinating because one parent that we spoke with last week, a man, he was saying, anyway, if the kids are coming back, I only want 3 children. He was telling us this. I only want 3 children at a time to be in the classroom. We're like, okay. He says, yes, they shouldn't hug. They shouldn't play outside. they shouldn't touch the toys. So I said, then in my head, like, it's not even possible now. They're 2 and 3 year olds, they're 4 year olds. Okay, we don't know how we're even going to begin that. And meanwhile, we teach these kids to hug. We say hug your friend, those kind of things. So that's a very key thing you said. Reorientation is very important. Okay, so when it comes to our teaching staff, our staff team, let's find ways that we can also involve them, let them know what's going on. I had a webinar with my staff team, about half of them, I think, everyone from the managers to the driver. We had the office assistants, so they all came. We did a webinar, and it was really touching because I hadn't seen some of them in a while. We did a webinar, and for them to all come out and find ways, some of them were standing outside to try and get good Wi-Fi. It was really touching for us. And that's something out of my head. I said, okay, good. I have to make sure I send everybody some little something for their data for the time. Okay, but they were all sharing, like, we know what they're experiencing. So I let them know that things are tight, though. So they should also know that whatever decision we take is going to be done out of professionalism, but we still care for them. And so we talked about that, so think of ways that you can review roles, talk to them, communicate, listen, just do things right. Okay, just find the right way to do something. So don't just send someone a text and say, you're fired, we can't pay you again. Those kind of things, you've already, like, that's just not the way it's done. Okay, so communicate well, find the best way to handle this. People are already very scared and very tense. They're already, like, waiting for the phone call or the letter. All right. For students, this is really important to remember. So many of us are packing all this work, sending them work, you're like, all you want to do is complete the curriculum. Don't forget that they're in a different setting. Now, for me here, I have our dining table where my daughter is resuming school on Monday. My son resumes school today. Is this same small dining table? I'm doing a master's. So we use the same table. Our books are on the table. Okay, so when my son was doing a webinar this morning, and then, so there's going to be a lot of changes and all that and stuff. So try to be considerate, okay? Find how to balance your expectation levels. When you pack all the work and give them, because this is how they were learning before, it might not be very feasible. Like my son was saying today, oh, thank God the math teacher was very thoughtful. They gave them the work already earlier today for them to work on and submit. So they didn't bother having like a long online class for them. Okay, so think of what works for you. Think of what works for your situation, conserving data, conserving time, and then make it simple. If a parent has to go back to work and they think that they want their children to stay back at home with an auntie or a nanny or a cousin, let it be simple enough that they can handle this, like just by showing them little thing, let them be able to do that. Don't forget, we have to, of course, show that we care, be professional. This professionalism, talking about safeguarding, have realistic goals and be considerate. Okay, now this safeguarding aspect is really important, especially when it comes to data security. I was asking my son, and I said, oh, do you guys do like WhatsApp classes or something? They said no. The teachers are not allowed to have their phone numbers, of course. That's against the policy. Okay, so when you're doing all the things you do in a bid to be, even if you're running a secondary school, find what works for you. If you have to get the student's phone number, for example, let people fill consent forms. Just show that you're being professional. All right, and then please don't send information to these people after school hours. Okay, so because we have their data, we can't be sending information that's not school related. Okay, so some people don't really know how to handle this. So even when we train our staff on technology on the red, let them also know how to be professional. Okay, because you have someone's phone number, we shouldn't now be sending them a forwarded message about 5G network or whatever it is. Okay, that's not related to what we're doing. Okay, so don't be the ones that will now use it and abuse that. Have realistic goals and be considerate. Okay, they're learning from home now, so they're not in that same frame of mind. When you get up and have a bath, brush your teeth, eat, enter a car and go to school, your mind is already ready for learning. But when you're coming down from home, you've brushed your teeth and you're sitting on a table in your pajamas to work, is a very different kind of mindset. All right, so let's have that at the back of our minds. Try and be in touch with your external partners. Are there people that you work with in your school? Do you have maybe people that run clubs? Okay, Hadiza, okay, I'm going to pray. Okay, people that run clubs, people that supply you things. We have people on retainership for us, so we have to speak with them. We have our security firm. We have people that supply diesel. We have people that maybe we run clubs. Of course, they can see that where school is not open, but I think it's still nice to send a message and say, okay, you can see that we're closed. So when we resume, hopefully we'll try and, we'll continue our services with you. Just send a message, find a way to review your contract. Some people have paid for some services for a whole year, so you really can get a refund, but find a way to speak with them. Okay, communicate. Also, okay, so I like what, let me just read this part, what Dairo said. I think I'm almost the part where we're discussing. Dairo says, allowing employees to be involved in entrepreneurship helps some employees. Yeah, yeah, that's very true. To understand how business actually run, then they'll be more reasonable. Um, Social distance is alien to the human race. Honestly, it's going to take quite a bit of work for us. Um, Online learning, yeah. So access to technology and all that, yeah. So what I think you should do for schools who haven't been using online learning, I think the first thing to do is maybe engage with the parents, find out what exactly works for them, and then so that they know what kind of things they have to invest in. Okay, find out what they have to invest in. My younger sister lives in Minnesota in the States. And last week when I called her, she's like, "Oh, she's coming. That the school called them to come and pick up laptops for the kids." I was busy like one local woman. I was going, they're picking laptops for every child. For every household. All right, and so they called them to pick up nice laptops, and I think they gave them tablets too. So those are real. This is mega government partnership, and those are countries who are, of course, more developed than we are. Okay, and so if we can do that now, we have to find ways to. That's why I'm saying associations, find ways we can come together. Can we work with some of these companies? Can they give us their devices, and we pay over a period of time? Okay, think of things that we can do. Okay, so I'm going to stop so that we can chat a little bit. Najala has put some very excellent points here and there. Um, she has given some points here. We can also scroll and see. Honestly, I like this. Thank you, Yemi John. On being professional, it's so important because as we're learning to use this technology now, people are going to be, the information that was normally guarded and more confidential may now be in almost everybody's hands to an extent. Okay, because if a teacher is working from home and they have to reach the parents or they have to reach the class, we can't still keep the information away from them. They have to have the information. So we don't expect a teacher to now be sending a parent a message later and say, please, I don't know if you can raise me 5K, please. I don't have a food money or something, okay? And so these are things that have to also, we may assume, you may assume that people would know. So there's the aspect of teachers being technologically sound. That's very good. They know how to use the Edmodo, Google Classroom, WhatsApp, very good. But there's the aspect of remaining professional. All right, very, very important. Let them remain professional. That means if people have your phone number as an educator now, even your profile picture must be professional. That's you won't do the one where you're wearing the bikini on the beach. I'm just saying, even if it's something just fun, like even if you're smiling with you and your kids, it's okay. But not that the one where you're wearing bum shorts or something, okay? Because people now have your phone and they're seeing you as a professional. Okay, so once they have your number, you can't do that anymore. Okay, so think of all those things and aspects. All right, so I really want to hear from us, and I've talked a lot here. I want to hear from us. I want to hear what we're doing. What are the great stuff you're doing? If you want to talk, you just raise your hand and I would unmute you, or you can raise your hand and unmute yourself. Let me see what points we have here. So the essence of this really was to just get us thinking. Yes, they really are. Thank you, Amara. Good to have you here, Amara. Okay, so there are policies guiding online work. There are a lot of policies. You can check those. You can check and create your own. It's very important. I got one yesterday, I think, from one of the kids' school. We developed one actually for a school, but it wasn't as detailed because we weren't at the level where we had online learning as being this vital. So please, one thing not to forget under organizational structure, this is even the time when your policies must be airtight. So go and review your policies to find out your policies relating to the parents, policies relating to the staff also, okay? Check your termination, your policy on termination to review it if need be, because if you guys happen to tell someone now, I'm so sorry, okay? Find out whether how you have to put the words so that you can also be in line with the policy that you created concerning what do you call it, recruitment and firing also. Okay, Osa, I'm gonna call you Osa because your name is really nice and long. High ethical standards. Thank you. So we must remember that we are just like how you say doctors are, doctors have the high professional standards and all that. Same thing with us more than ever. Educators, we're doing a lot more. We're the ones, things are going to be shared, information is going to be shared. So we must make sure that we remain professional. If you're doing a video, okay, if you're doing, maybe a teacher is asked to do a video from home to send to the kids, make sure, of course, just remind them, your background. Someone has done a video before and then their pant and bra is in the background. Okay, so just things like little things that we might take for granted. Okay, so little things, find ways to remind them, okay, that all these things really count. They all really count. Okay, and then I think one of the important things to say, there are a lot of people who are available to coach, to consult, to mentor. This is actually the time. This is actually the time to invest in having a coach, having a mentor, having someone who can consult in some aspects for you. This is actually the time for you. So don't, as much as we're keeping our money and trying to save, I believe this is also a very important time to invest, because, as I said, things are going to come back in the next 2 weeks, and we're running back, to a very different normal. It's not the same normal of how things were before. Okay, and so it's very important that we're prepared. Let me try and answer. I love all these comments coming in. Yes. Oh, look at Amara. Amara is one of, also that's also someone you can consider contacting. Amara. She consults for schools too, so it's very important. Yes. Don't forget, this is the time when your policies. We're launching our website, the resource where you can download some free documents, and then you can download some that are paid, but very ridiculously priced ones. We're launching that over the weekend. The SRC shop is called the resource shop. So we'll be on all our social media once we've put it live. Okay, we have some videos you can download for free on how to make different things. But policies are very important. If you need help with policies, please contact us. This is the time to have it right, so that we can review the ones that you have, and then we can take it from there. Okay, Mrs. O, then let me see what Emeka Victor says. Okay, to parents. Okay. Only few parents gave feedback. Okay, so one thing you can consider doing, Emeka, you can consider either sending individual messages. Was this a group message? Yeah, send individual. From me personally, I'm on so many groups now that it's tiring. I can barely manage them. Some days I wake up, I see like 700 messages that I've already given up. I can't even keep up. Okay, so what you might do is send a personal message like, hello mama, hello mama Amina, how are you doing? How is Amina? Unless you people are like 500 in your school, but find a way that you can contact some of them to encourage the others to respond. Okay, or pick up the phone and do the cold calls. It might be worth it. You want to find out what's going on. Okay, so, and people are busy, people are confused, people are tired, people have a lot of groups going on. All right, so don't be discouraged. I said what worked for us last week, which is something I'm really happy, because we also have WhatsApp groups, was like what we did here, the webinar. And what we did then, we had the whole we put the pictures where everybody could see themselves. So some parents even brought their kids to look at the other people and to see what was going on. Okay, so just find the way that works for you. Again, try, if it needs to be a webinar, pick up the phone and call some directly. All right, but the important thing, you must engage like now. If you can do that for tomorrow is Friday, before the weekend. Yes, so parents, very important. Parents, as someone said, now some parents might not just be on the ready for the things like Google Classroom and the rest, but most people, almost everyone uses what do you call it, WhatsApp, Telegram. Everyone is familiar with those. Okay, so something as simple as sending a link, sending a YouTube link. Please watch this video, and then click on the Google form that I sent. You can create Google forms as assessment, answer the questions, those kind of things. So you can think of things that are very simple, but find out, as I said, what works for parents. If I'm a doctor and I still have to go to work, and I'm the one that has the phone, so that means the child can do the work till I get back. What if I don't get back till later on in the night? All right. So ask the parents what works best for them before we start doing all this. I don't know how many homes have more than 5 laptops in them. How many of them? So if I have my laptop and I have an iPad, I said, but if the kids need to use laptop, I use mine all the time. So that's already going to affect me. Okay, so you must check all these things. It's actually the school's role. You can work with your PTA to encourage parents. A lot of parents are actually very tech savvy, but when it comes to combining their own job, their lives, and then you're now sending me 10 different messages from the school, that may be where parents are finding it difficult. So don't just give up yet. Don't give up yet. It's a very new territory for Israel. That's why it's called unprecedented and uncertain times. Okay, that's why we're calling it that. It's totally like something that nobody even knows. We can't even say right now officially that we're sure that in 2 weeks time we're going to go back. We're not even sure, okay, about that. um I'm loving this. Okay, so yeah, so Emeka, don't, it's good to worry, but um pick up the phone, call. There's some parents who are, you always have the loyal ones, some who are always supportive. So call those ones first, send them a message and say, can they help you add some ginger to the WhatsApp group? We even did that ourselves for one of the schools that we're working with. Okay, so we told them to call the parents. There's some who are very, once they make some noise, everybody will be like, hey, they answer. Okay, so you may consider doing that. Get some parents to respond, to call other parents, and then plan the meeting again. Okay, a remote village where very few parents have access to internet. So you may decide not to go that far with the e-learning. Okay, you might decide to do something simple like send your, even we have schools in Kano we worked with. I have 40 schools, public schools that we have done projects with. We have a WhatsApp group with them. So if they can have WhatsApp, then yours shouldn't be too far. We have a WhatsApp group. In fact, they're the ones always forwarding nonsense messages also on the group too. Okay, but the aim of that group was then to show us the things that they're making from the local community that we train them in. So if they can do that, I'm sure yours can also at least have a WhatsApp group. And what we do sometimes, we send them videos on YouTube, and these are people that some of them don't even speak English very well. So if they can do this, then we can also do that too. Most people will find a way to, as I said, it's not really just money or whatever. When they understand the value, okay, when you can explain the value to them, it's really important for them. Okay, so but that's really good. Being accessible, really, really good, really important. Be accessible. Let people know that. For me, because for me sometimes I prefer to, you just want to just be in the background sometime, but I found this is not the time to be in the background. People are actually, when I had that parents meeting, I was so surprised. So many of them, like even me, I was like, I don't know this person. Who's this person? Whose dad is this? And they came up and then they were all giving suggestions that are very helpful, very, very helpful. Okay, so please don't give up. Lovely, Timmy. Good. One-on-one, very perfect. Now, one-on-one calls, encourage them. Perfect. So people are already doing this also. Okay, team members into groups, train them, give them a guide how they can handle of calls. That is so good. Amara, that's a nice idea. So if you have a lot of staff and you have some that are very good, of course, work with the ones who are good and who are known. Okay, who are like, oh, I'm calling from, let me see, which school should I call now? Agidingbi High School, okay, or grammar school or whatever. Okay, I'm calling from this school. I want to check up on your kids, see how they're doing. So send the staff credit, let them split the calls. Okay, good idea. Excellent. So Mr. Jala has said here now, let's do more research. Research is so key. If I'd even add that there for us, all of us, this is what we should be doing now. Train more, find out more, find places like this. We're networking, we're talking, we're sharing ideas. Even I am learning so much from here. Okay, so very important. This is the key thing here, right? The answers are really out there. Okay, the more you go out, the more you engage people. Me personally, I don't think for the first time, I mean, at a time like this, I've invested some money in a coaching program that I thought I was crazy when I did it. I virtually paid for the thing at 7:58 when there was a deadline at 18. That's a 6 o'clock. So what's not 7? Sorry. Yes, deadline at 8 p.m. I was that uncertain. I was like, hey, what am I doing? But I think honestly, one of the best things I have done. So for you, find that thing that would help you and transform. This is the time to do that. Okay. Thank you, my dear Osa. Nice name that I don't want to spoil the name. So um yes. So e-learning, we have a lot of opportunity to use it. Okay. But most of it, I think when we think of e-learning, we think of computer labs, you think of a lot of things like that. Okay. So let's not even go too far. Find from parents what works for them. Some parents, like for the younger children, for example, we're creating very simple sheets for them, and then we're going to combine. So what we want to do is that once the schools, once the lockdown or the curfew has been lifted, we're going to create some worksheets and work packs for them. that the parents can either, they can either, we either add it to their bill and can have it DHL to them, or they can send someone to pick it up from the school gate or something, would have the children's name on it. All right. So mix everything up. Okay. Mix everything, mix everything up. Don't focus only on online learning, and then try and create your own original content. If all you're going to send to me is YouTube channels, I might as well just go on Khan Academy and then not bother paying you the fees. Okay. So use your teachers well. I was totally amazed to see what some of our teachers did with the children. Some of them, for the early years, they actually get storybooks, they read them, they do a video with their phone, and then they send to the parents. So once a week, they've decided they're going to have a webinar where all the parents can come together with the kids and see their teachers. So for that kind of thing, we have to know what time works best. Should we do it in the evening when the parents are back? Because some parents still have to go out. Okay. And so, yes. Oh, good. Thanks, Emeka. That's good. Okay. So Abigail, religion. Yeah. So you group it, find a way and group it now. You could say I'm doing CRK at this time, or you find because I'm sure you have data. So create your data. Those who were doing CRK before, you put together the lessons for them and you send to them. And then those who were doing IRK, you send the messages to them. So that's something. I mean, either way, you're going to group your students in different categories. That's what you're going to be doing now. Okay, so keep sending parents. Just don't overwhelm them. Don't forget, parents are also very overwhelmed. Try not to send them like those 25-page documents which nobody's going to open and read. They won't even read it. So send a greeting. Dear parents, I'm going to be sending you a message every Tuesday or twice a week. Is that okay for you? I'll give you updates and so on and so forth. Okay, so find a way that works best for them. Yes, really good, Osa. So we must be able to integrate e-learning and non-e-learning. Okay, I have I mean, okay, well, I have this screen, so you can't see my bookshelf. I'm doing a master's, but all the books that put them online, I've actually still invested my money to buy some of them on Amazon. Meanwhile, I have them online, but I still want to have the book. I want to highlight. Okay, I still want to be able to write on some of these things. Okay, and so that's the same thing for us. We can't have technology, as I said, is excellent, is really good. I mean, I love what they're doing now. They're actually going to be one of the first schools to have a full digital option for school for their clients and their students. And this is something they've been working on since like last year. So it's not even a now COVID matter. All right. Okay. So many of us now, why I'm saying we should be reflective, because when we had the Ebola crisis, I remember sitting down with a lot of schools. We had like a lunch meeting, and I said, you guys must take note of this. If parents and families could survive this Ebola, there will come a time when we may not be as relevant. And we had this meeting about, I think, around that time of Ebola, and people were like, no, we're fine. So everybody forgot. And we went back to what it is that we were doing. Okay. And so it's really important for us when this is, as this is going back to the new normal, don't forget so easily. Let's make sure that things like this, we're using all means possible. So integrate technology more often. Okay. Find the things think of all possible risks that can happen. All right. And then also teach the children, I think most importantly, to be able to think and work independently. That's a skill that everyone must be able to, they must be able to tap into that. Okay. It's very important for them. Yes. So I think it's important to allow the children to have a mix and match. There's a series I'm doing on I'm just recording on my YouTube channel, and I've called it How to Make the World Your Classroom. Okay. There's so much learning going on, especially for the older ones, especially for the older, even for the younger ones. There's so much learning. So if they're not staring at the laptop or they're not reading a book and they're doing something else, there's a lot of learning that's possibly going on in there. Okay. My kids, they like cooking. I mean, they cook for themselves. They can cook. My daughter can cook. My sons can cook. And so sometimes, they're making stuff, we're measuring stuff on, they were making pancakes already. They were measuring the pancakes using different cups. Okay. There's always learning going on. All right. So if parents can also learn to identify this learning, so that you don't sit down and start saying, you couldn't even do any math today. You didn't do any of this and this and this, but the child has been calculating how to, double a portion of his pancake mix, and different things. And so there's learning that's happening a lot. Okay. But if we're going to keep insisting that a child must sit down and stay on a table at home, that they're not familiar with staying on for that long. It might not be very realistic, so that we don't get frustrated. Okay. And so what I wanted to do with this session is just to hear from us. I like all the things that I've heard. So the phone calls, the reaching out, the communicating aspect, I think is very important for us to do that. And then to encourage us to, we may have these beliefs. I mean, I have all these things I think about, they always come to my mind. Some, as I said, I've had different moods. Some days I'm like, oh my goodness, I wake up and I'm going, no, what's going on? How are we going to survive? And then I fight it, and I find a group like this, or all the groups I'm on, and then someone does something and it encourages me to go and do more, to go and do some more research. Okay. So think of ways, really, really think honestly. Okay. So don't forget, very important. Amara said here, and so has Yemi, make things simple, all of us. Okay. Make things very simple. Don't overdo it, please. There are parents involved. You're the school owner, you're involved, the teachers, the other stakeholders. Make things as simple as possible. My the charity I'm on the board, they have created radio programs for the children so they can continue learning, for the children in Adamawa, I think, and Borno and Kano, okay, in these schools. So just make it simple. Find out what exactly works for your children. Don't feel bad if one other school is using what do you call it now, Odyssey and all these other things, like they've paid subscriptions, and you are just using WhatsApp. But please, create value. It's only the value that would attract people to consider paying the fees. If you're going to say something like, I've just downloaded this free app, download this app or something, okay? What other value are you adding? Why should I pay any money to you? So please learn to present the value in a way that parents would say, oh, this is good. And then be considerate. You might not be able, you can't be charging the same thing you were probably charging before. Okay, so find a way to give some sort of reduction, and then explain how you came about this cost. Okay. Children with special needs, also you would work with an expert on that. There are many experts there, but then a lot of tools, there's so many tools. A lot of tools are actually what do you call it, modified to use technology with children with special needs. And we have to know what level, what kind, are you talking about reading disabilities, are you talking about, people with major disabilities also? So you work with an expert for that. Very important for you. That is also a selling point for you. If you're able to work with parents, a parent will be willing to pay for that kind of service, because having that a child with special needs at home with them is giving them extra trouble. So parents are struggling, find out how they're struggling, and then capitalize. I don't want to use that word, but capitalize on it. Okay, use it to add value for them, so that they will be willing to pay for this particular thing that you are solving. Okay, so let's, as this person said, let's find ways, let's prepare ourselves. Okay, because before you know it, now this 2 weeks that we're complaining already, they will just pass, and then we'll just be there. We'll just be there going, now wow, So enjoy the Netflix, enjoy all the things you're watching, but please, let's not let the time now pass and then we've missed it. Okay. Yes. Oluwa Damilare. Okay. Yes. Innovation. Very, very exciting. Honestly, very, very true. Requires different dimension of content. Very, very good. Very, very important for us. Please, if there's some things you remember, at least remember that simplicity, very important. Start from what you have now. Find how you can build up on what you have at the moment. All right. Google Suites have so much free stuff. If you have a Gmail account, click on those squares, explore it in your spare time. Okay. If you even go on Google itself and Google, how do I use Google Classroom? There's so many videos to show you, and it's so easy. All right. So take out time, source for tools, share with other people, find other ways you can also support people in the local community. So even though we're looking for money, people there are even worse off than you are. So also find ways to support them. Okay. Find how you can support them, collaborate with the right people. We're doing a project with Scholastic International to see, because they have a lot of online resources. So I want them to give us some that we can share with others for free. And so I'm waiting for them to send us the link. There's some that you normally pay a lot for, but they said they might give us like a 90-day free trial. So once we get those ones, we'll probably share with everyone in our network so that you can have access to over 1,350 online storybooks. All right. And you can do a lot with that. So those kind of things, there's a lot that we can gain from. Then don't forget that there is life after COVID-19 so that we don't now get carried away and miss it. Um, Lovely. Mr. Sani says, principle starting from simple to complex and from known to unknown. Very true. If I think we're even this one is even from unknown to known for us. Okay, so um, think simple, think simplicity, and then you can now take it from there. But don't forget, you're not the consumers of all these things you're doing. Okay, it's the parents and the children. Make sure what you're doing works for everyone involved. All right. Um, Excellent. If someone wants to do a PhD, that's excellent. That's very, very good. So use this time, sign up, invest in the right thing. Okay, invest. This is the time to invest. Invest. These things will all come back to you. They will pay off. Okay, and then think of ideas of things you can do. Find out who needs a friend. My one of my relatives in the states. She's actually doing UPS deliveries. Meanwhile, those people pay more than any other job. Okay, she's doing UPS delivery. She's a mom. She has her child and she's married. She's a full graduate with a PhD, with a master's. Sorry. So while she's there, she's like, they pay so much. They pay like 200 and something dollars, I think, a day to do deliveries for. So it's like an Uber, but you're now a delivery person on your own. So you're like a contract staff. She says they pay quite well. Then they also pay them um, an allowance every week to top up their petrol and things like that. So I mean, people are thinking. So she's like, my goodness, she's making more money than she was doing and what she was doing before now at this time. All right. So don't think everybody is not making money. People are thinking, people are thinking, people are coming up with ideas. Okay. I almost yesterday when one of the companies called me to talk about acne, I was almost going to say like, we're in lockdown now, what's your, and the man was talking and everything. He said, can I get a proposal sent to me by Monday? And and the person calling was actually one of the managers. He was one of the bosses. So people are not sleeping. People are thinking of how they can advance. Okay, people are thinking of how they can advance and all that. Um, so Amara has put some resources here from Osborne. Osborne has a lot of resources. You have Scholastic they have things like Uka Island. They have a lot of reading resources and Reading Pro, a lot of things like there. So once I get the full link, I will share with us as best as I can, and we can all take it from there. So find the one that works for you because there's too much information out there. If you're not careful, you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to want to try like 55 new things in your organization, and then that means that once you have too many things, the tendency is that it won't work. Also, yes, Chidima, excellent. Twinkle is really good. Twinkle that has no e at the end. Twinkle. If you don't know Twinkle, please go and Google it. There's plenty there. TES resources, TES in the UK also a lot of resources. We actually have no excuse because there's so much free stuff. People have opened up people that are normally charging you have now opened up for free resources too. Okay, so there's a lot out there, a lot to gain. Okay, so as I said, my aim of this was just to find ways for others to share what they're doing, share resources, dialogue, and then to encourage ourselves. So let's not allow ourselves to dwell too much on those things that limit us. Let's find ways to encourage one another. Let's find ways to see how we can support others, support ourselves too. By helping others, you're also helping yourselves. Join the right people. Find others who are not even in your industry. People are doing such great things in other industries. Find out what they're doing. There's a man here who in the UK who he dresses up as I don't know what, a superhero. He's a post office. He delivers letters, so to encourage the kids in the neighborhood. He dresses up as a superhero, a different superhero every day, and he drops letters. So he was in the news for all the great stuff he's doing, and of course, he's going to get some gifts from acknowledgement from the government. So people are just doing different things, different ideas are coming up. All right, people are sharing, people are becoming more considerate. So let's make the most of that. I've loved the interaction here and all that. Oh, Mr. Abiyu, you're here. Yay. Look for the good and do not dwell on the bad. It's so great to have you here. Yeah. So this is what I was trying to do here. I didn't want us to have one of those sessions that's called the challenges of, because we know them and we can check anywhere. And I get that in the news every single day. All right. But I wanted us to be able to learn to downplay or push down the limiting beliefs. Once they come up, let's think of the things that are more empowering. Let's think of ways that are fresh. what other way can I look at this thing to make it work for me? All right. So I would yes, I'm recording. That's true. Thank you for reminding me. I am recording. Thank you to all of you who joined in. I would find a way that I could send. I don't know whether it saved everyone's whether everyone's emails have been saved after the after this session. So I will find out from there. And if they have, I'll just send all of us the recording. If you don't mind, can you guys help me? There's a poll here. If you can help me click on this and just vote before we sign off. And so those of us who have my contact details, however you heard about this, if there are other areas you feel you want people to support you, if whether it's even business consulting or there is an aspect, okay, let us know how we can connect you. If you feel you want someone to work with you, to consult, to help you to put some structure in your school, let us know also if we can help you. If there are others we can link you with also, okay? Let me see, who is saying this? Glory, our devices with parental controls when kids are learning. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, yes, there are links. Okay, let me ask, how do you guys do parental controls? There's if you have like an iPhone, if you actually go on, most of those things, they're in your settings panel. Okay, so they're in your settings panel. You can also check them and see. Okay, so what I would do here, I have on Tuesday next week, I have about 5 or 6 slots or time I can give for anyone who wants to do like a private just talk or coaching, just to put you through some things or to bounce off some ideas. So I'm going to get some information from the poll that I get here, and then I would see. But if for any reason you don't get any message from me, please just send a message and let us know. So I would create some time where I can, it's free. I mean, I can create some time where we can bounce off ideas just very briefly. I can give about 15 minutes to about 5 people between 11 and 2 p.m. So we either can choose to do individually like this on Zoom, or we can do it on WhatsApp for those of us who may be interested. Okay, so it's been, I've learned so much. You guys are so dynamic. Wow, I love this. Let me see how many people have signed. Oh, well done. Done the poll. Any more? 42% voted. Can more people vote so that I can I can take this down. Hey, really, really good. Okay, so thank you, Mrs. Sani. Thank you so much. I'm really happy. Yes, I think my head has been so full. So full. So many things we've learned. Mrs. Ajala, thank you so much for all your contributions. Amara, lovely. Mrs. Sani, I'm so happy to have you in this session. I haven't seen you in a while. Okay. Thank you very much, Glory. I'm waiting for more of us to fill the poll, and then I would close the group. In the meantime, I'm enjoying reading all the chat. So for, as I said, for those of us, you know how to. Okay, did I ask you whether you liked my background? See, I'm just to give myself like I'm on a beach, just to cheer myself a little bit. So, oh, you can't? All right, okay. People are still able to vote. Maybe it's your network. Maybe your network or so. Also, so thank you very, very much. I am really grateful to have all of you here. Enjoy the vacation. Yeah, enjoy your the time out while you're at it too. Someone was saying to me the other day that they said that I always seem so happy. I said I'm happy, but I'm actually quite stressed because I find I'm sleeping a bit later. I'm always working on something, and I'm like, I can't have businesses go back to work in the next 2 weeks, and I'll come out a bit more stressed out. So I'm trying to be a bit more intentional, don't overwork myself, just find a way to make it work. Apparel also can submit. Okay, some of it is submitting too. So glad to have everyone here. Please help one another, find ways to support ourselves. Okay, if you know any schools that are smaller, okay, and then your staff, please be considerate. Think of ways that you can support them, even if it's sending them credit, sending them little like transport money, just things that you can do in the meantime. Like for me already, I'm thinking, what can I do for them? Because we are also, it's very tight for us too. What else can I do for them? Can I send them apart from their allowances? Okay, because I have quite a number of staff. So we're going to do allowances for them. Can I also support them? Maybe get them to share, or think of getting some food stuff and sharing with them. Okay, so just thinking of things so I asked them, what I've done is I created my staff into different teams so that they can be, some people can be in charge of welfare, some will be in charge of getting more resources and doing research, some will be in charge of communication. So active communication with parents and with internally also. Okay, so that's it. So thank you, Yemi. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. I am going to end the poll, and I'm going to. Oh, excellent, 80%. You've all done really well. Yes. So Amara, someone said you chat them up there. So you've seen that. Amanda, is that Amanda or Chidima? Okay, Chidima, yes. So thank you, Amanda, for being here. Thank you, Miss Chichi. Oh, thank you too also. Okay, so there are a lot of links here. I don't know if you can all scroll up. If there are any links, or what you can do is take a screenshot with your phone. People have posted stuff like Osborne and things like that. There's an Osborne link. All right, there's a lot of little things that you can gain from here. So thank you very much. And I'm going to end the polling and the session right now. Yes. So free resources. Okay. There's a lot of free resources. There's a lot of paid ones also. Okay. So as I said, just think of things that you can do that are unique. There's so many people, Mr. Mr. ABU, I call you ABU always anyway. So he does a mind mapping. Some people are doing a lot of interesting things. So don't just dwell on, focus on, have meetings like this with your industry, people in education, but also interact with people who are doing other things. Find people who are doing things, even in farming, people who are doing things in technology, whatever, entertainment. Just find out other ways that you can work with them, okay? You can gain more. Okay, so I'm gonna end this vote. Yes, I have that. And I think we are done. I'm going to, unmute, just for the fun of it, I'm gonna mute everyone just to hear your voices before we, let me see if I can do that now. Before we end, oh, okay, no. I think I've muted everybody too much. No, I can't do it, but if you want to unmute yourself just to, let me hear your voices before we.
Done here.
Before we round up. Yeah, look at that. Oh,
yeah, thank you so much.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I love to hear everyone's voices. Lovely.
Thank you,
Very
ma'am.
much. It's
Thank
nice
you.
having you here.
It
Thanks
was a
a lot.
good time.
Yes, I can. Okay, I'll see
So
the chat.
much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are
Everyone.
very grateful.
Lovely. Keep in touch.
So much.
Okay?
Thank you so
Look
much.
at the other things that you need, and let me know who's calling me for next week's Tuesday session. Who needs to just run some ideas or anything around this? Whether you want to do a WhatsApp chat or you want to. Okay, I only do 5 people anyway, so just 5 of us. So I will check the poll and see those who indicated it. Okay. So thank you. Let me go into my my beach.
Thank you so much. Coco says so.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to stop the recording now, and I will end the meeting now. So good night, everyone.